All right, half a day and welcome to another episode. First and foremost, I'd just like to say that I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And yeah, it's a different Thanksgiving this year. We kind of had to adjust our plans, but I hope you had a wonderful one, safe, and got to spend time with those family members that you are able to. And again, you know, things are different this year. And so we've all kind of had to adjust our plans. And thank you again for watching. Today, we're going to be talking about the USO and our team joining us here. We have JD, we have Ed, and we have Lee. And USO, I've had the pleasure of having you on in one form or another on my show over the years. And the USO, of course, is not just a holiday thing. You guys, 365 days a year, you are doing what you can to kind of help increase the morale of our servicemen and women all around the world. And of course, here on Guam, there are those that, you know, this year, of course, we couldn't have the big Thanksgiving with all of our friends and family. And there are those that are serving, that put that uniform on, that don't get that because of their duties. They are overseas, they're abroad, they're somewhere else. So sometimes I think it is important to just take a second. I put a post up about this on Facebook. It's important to take a second to think about, you know, as bad as this year has been for a lot of us, it is important to take a look at the things that are really important, and taking a moment to do that, I think, is great. But your jobs, as I said, year round, are dedicated to the men and women serving our country. So all of you, welcome to the show. It's nice to see all your faces here, and I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get right into it. And usually when I do these interviews, I will send out the outline of what I want to talk about, what I want to discuss, the questions I have. But you guys were having none of that. You took charge and sent me a pretty extensive outline of all the things that you wanted to cover, which is just a fraction of what the USO does. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Lee, we'll start with you. You are the USO Guam Area Director, and it's been quite a year for you. So let's go ahead and talk, before we get to what we have going on now, let's talk about this year in general. Huge challenges, obviously, with the pandemic. And some of the things that you've done to bring a little brightness to the lives of those that you serve.
Thanks so much, Andy, and a happy Thanksgiving to you and the entire KUAM team. And we'll start by saying thank you for remembering USO, and we're honored to be here today. Happy Thanksgiving to our entire beautiful island. Perhaps the best example of USO's mission accomplishment in 2020 I can give you played out before us all on our television screens in late March, when 4,800 of our nation's sons and daughters with the crew of the USS Theodore Roosevelt aircraft carrier, all of us on Guam, experienced it firsthand when the Roosevelt crew quarantined here for more than 90 days due to an outbreak on the ship. We all remember it well. But what a lot of people may not know is that at the time, USO was the only non-military entity initially allowed to interface to care for Theodore Roosevelt sailors. We all know that thousands had to be immediately evacuated off the ship without any time to access to shopping for personal supplies, hygiene, or comfort items. And then 1,000 more stayed behind while military leaders went into overdrive, finding locales and medical teams in a socially distanced ways to care for them. Almost every one of those sailors had no connectivity to let family and friends know of their health status. They were only receiving subsistence meals, maybe a bottled water. They had no entertainment or distraction from boredom during very long days. USO immediately organized supplies from our warehouse in the mainland US. Why? Because we know that our local communities were dealing with very limited supplies. We had them airlifted to Guam within 3 days. You know what flights and everything like that we're dealing with, and our military flights were overloaded. So we wanted to do that without disrupting the already very scarce supply of resources on our island. Our local team of 4 people worked daily in a sanitized base warehouse, packaging more than 11,000 edible and hygiene care packages for delivery to the sailors. We also arranged through our local Gold GTA sponsor for high-speed internet to more than 1,000 sailors to connect them with family and gaming and movies while they were on cots in gyms and warehouses for months. But here's what was awesome, Andy. The thanks started pouring in.
Yeah, I bet they did because, and you know, when you signed up to be working for the USO, you never thought that, hey, I'm going to have to handle a pandemic with our sailors and servicemen and women. But luckily, USO, you guys already kind of have that infrastructure in place to be able to handle something like this. When, you know, the Theodore Roosevelt does dock here in a normal year, you would have entertainment, you would have things set up for the sailors. So you kind of already had that in place, but you had to kind of take it up a notch, and there was a sense of urgency, I'm sure. So your team went into overdrive, and you know, national news was about the aircraft carrier and those in quarantine, but you guys weren't making the news because you know, joining the USO is not something you sign up for the publicity. So how did your team, for the most part, handle that situation?
Well, the team includes our entire island, Andy. As you know, this is the most generous place on earth, and the American people are the most generous people. Thank you for asking about our team, because while we do have a phenomenal volunteer cadre, they of course had to pay attention to their families. We were all socially distanced. We were at stay-at-home order, and our entire team was 7, but one of our members was ill. 2 members were at high risk, so there were only 4 who could be physically involved, and we just stayed in close touch, and they worked in the warehouse during the day and then started providing virtual programming at night. But it's just being driven by a passion to care for those who keep this nation and island free. We are not a perfect nation, but as far as I am concerned, the greatest nation on earth, because we are a force for good in the world.
You know, all of our bickering and all that aside, when it's time for us to step up to the challenge, you did that. And how on earth did 4 people coordinate all these things for, you know, 5,000 sailors is beyond me. So props to them. You know, I'm sure that there's thousands and thousands of very, very grateful people out here in the world right now because of the efforts of those 7 and the 4 that were the frontliners. So, you know, I can't express enough how grateful everyone is for that.
Well, USA Today picked up a photo of the 4 of them doing what they were doing, and the fuel was the photos of these sailors on cots clutching their cans of soda and a candy bar. And you know, a can of soda or a candy bar doesn't sound like much until you haven't had one. And then I would stay up at night answering every single email of a note from a mother in the States who were sending in, they didn't know where to send their messages. And so I would filter them and make sure each one got a message saying, yes, we talked to your son, we talked to your daughter, they're okay. And then for our folks that couldn't be on the base, we were taking meals to the medical teams that were working around the clock, the security teams, including our own Guam National Guard, who are still standing watch to this day, helping with the COVID personnel, or with the watch, making sure that everybody's safe from COVID. So our own Guam National Guard are heroes as well. And then that, I'll just close out, Andy, by saying that this prepared us for what you wanted to talk to us about today, the holiday programming. So we got really good at grab and go and socially distanced meals. And yesterday our team delivered 1,600 individually packaged meals and desserts from Anderson all the way down to Naval Base Guam. And while it wasn't traditional Thanksgiving, you know, to see tears well up in a young sailor, soldier, Marine, Coast Guardman, National Guardsman, because they got a slice of pumpkin pie, that's pretty moving. and I can't make. And we'll roll into Christmas with, we just ordered, I'm going to say it, $10,000 worth of gingerbread kits.
Oh, wow. All right.
Oh yeah. Somebody they think that sounds crazy, but people can't decorate for the holidays. So a young service member who gets a gingerbread kit so they can put that up in that room, in their room, that may be the only decor they get, or a young service member's child. And when I say service member, we have a tendency to think off island. Let's not forget how many local folks have service members in the military. We have the highest per capita enlisted in the nation. Don't forget that. So we'll be doing a lot around the holidays. So thanks for asking.
And it's those little things that for those of us, in the civilian world, I can just pop over to the store, I'll grab some of those. But when you're deprived of those things, just that little, that special treat, I think, it does a lot to bring a little bit of home to our servicemen and women. So your work, again, with the small team that you have, I'm sure everyone appreciated it so much. So big things coming for the holidays. We'll talk more about that, but I wanted to kind of move on to Jadine now. A lot of stuff coming here, and everyone this year has kind of had to adjust their plans, adjust their way of running their business, or whatever it may be. And you guys are no different. And you've kind of found some great ways to take the positives out of this COVID-19. So Jadine, talk to us about that.
Absolutely, Andy. And thank you again so much for having us on this on your show. And so, like you said, everybody had to adjust. And the crazy thing about everything happening with COVID was that there was plenty of innovation and more exciting opportunities that really came out of it. And in the middle of our centers being closed down, we had to figure out a way of how we were still going to be able to support our service members and their families. That was our mission. And despite the center shut down, we had a commitment to just figure it out, do whatever it took, no matter what. And so, again, it presented a great opportunity for awesome engagement with some really big names, celebrities who just really love Guam. Guam's a very special place in their hearts. Most recently, we actually had the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley. He was on an exclusive day before Thanksgiving call. Joining him on the call, we also had NFL legend Terry Bradshaw and superstar Rob Gronkowski. All right, formerly of the Pats. I'm always going to be a Pats fan.
Me too.
Yeah, that's it. We're loaning him to the Bucs for now. But it was so cool to see them on that call. And they actually helped recognize some of our outstanding junior military service members who are serving on Guam. And so that special call was actually part of this really cool new innovative program that the USO has. It's called our USO Military Virtual Programming, AKA USO MVP. We like the way MVP sounds a lot better. And again, it just provides some up close and personal opportunities. We also had a call with Drew Carey, famous comedian and everything. And so we had a young Marine family. We hosted them up at our Anderson Center, and their little boy, their young toddler, actually stole the show. He was actually the one making everyone laugh, including Drew, and it was just amazing to see. We also had John Bernthal of Marvel's The Punisher. That was a big hit. We had a Frank Cable family, on the call. John actually asked our sailor, hey, would you marry me? That's how cool and close of a connection we created. And then one of the last ones we actually had, and many of you have probably seen Netflix's Operation Christmas Drop, which was actually filmed at, largely at Anderson. And so we actually shared the same building. Our USO Anderson Center actually shared the same building at the top of the rock with like the cast and crew of Operation Christmas Drop. So the superstar of the show, Miss Kat Graham, was on an amazing call, and we had more than a dozen military service members, family members who were directly involved in the movie production, and then also just with the organization as a whole. So it was really neat to see. Kat Graham was in tears. She was excited the next moment. And it was just really cool to see how much Guam had become, a big part of her heart. And, she loves the island community. She joked a little bit about, our locals, our Chamorros, loving our Chamorro barbecue. And it was a little difficult for her to find some vegan food on the island last year. But she loved it, very, very much. And, the cool thing about it, she also stated that the film itself will be donating, a large amount to Operation Christmas Drop as a whole. And, again, that organization benefits so many of, our island neighbors, and it's going to bring a lot of Christmas cheer over that. So
Fantastic.
if anyone is Absolutely. If anyone is interested in learning more about, these virtual programs in particular, you guys can always go to uso.org/MVP. We've got a full lineup. We've got tons of amazing holiday programs coming up. So please check it out. In addition to those virtual programming, we are also, as an organization, looking towards more digitization of what we do. And so who knew that esports was such a big deal?
Oh,
And
it's a
so
huge deal. Yeah.
it's huge. And so we're really excited to be really, sinking our feet in. And so, we have celebrities, Lil Blasty Blast, for instance, she's a streamer. She's one of our USO ambassadors. But our folks go on, they play Call of Duty, League of Legends, Fall Guys, and so we post a lot of those games. Really, our Facebook page, USO Guam's Facebook page, is also a great location for folks, to find out more.
Yeah, the
But we are
days I think of, the old memories that people may have of the USO is Bob Hope, going out and doing a little stand up in front of the troops, gathering everybody around. But nowadays, with technology, with the hobbies and the entertainment that these servicemen and women enjoy, you got to kind of have to adjust to it. So, you've altered your plan, and obviously, it's been working out because everyone's been eating it up.
Absolutely. And, it's a learning experience for everyone, not just for those we serve, but for really our entire team. It's creating a lot of exciting opportunities and challenges, really, to just figure out a way of, we want to stay relevant, I would say is a big word. And we want to make sure that, our service members and our military families still cherish the USO, and, we're able to fill a need for them, in a sense.
Yeah,
So
for
again,
sure.
absolutely. The virtual world, it's taking off, and we're just excited to be a part of it. I do have to give a shout out, to our local artists, entrepreneurs, who have also assisted with a lot of our virtual programming. When we first kicked off our virtual series, locally, Joe Guam was really a big part of it, and he would play lullabies for our story time virtual events. And then we started diving into like the wellness, the wellness category in a sense. And so Liv Marati from Wellness Collective was also a big part of that. And she's going to be, one of our key partners moving forward in 2021, just trying to bring additional wellness programming to the organization. And, again, it's all in service to our service members, our families, and I will say we do post a lot of videos on our Facebook page. So, even if you're not in the service, I guarantee that someone, you have a family member, you have a close friend who's in the military. So there's nothing stopping you from going on our page and participating and checking it out. Leave comments, let us know what we're doing right and what we could be doing better. Really, we invite you to do that. And so, it's important for everyone to know that, we always try to go first to our local community, whether it's entertainment, whether it's sourcing furniture and artwork, for a new center that we're building, and even, food over the holidays. Thanksgiving, was a big example. The almost 2,000 meals that Lee spoke about that we catered to, those were locally sourced. That was a local partnership that we had, and we couldn't do what we do without our local partners. I can't stress that enough.
So I wanted to ask you then, for all of our local community support, if people are interested in contributing somehow, time, goods, food, cash, I don't know what you're looking for. What's the need, and how can people go about donating?
Wow, Andy, that's a very heavy question, because there are so many things that people can do. And I'm a true believer that everyone's got something to give, whether it's their time, their talent, their treasures, there's something there. Whether it's serving in our center and serving, a hot dog, to our troops, you can do that. You can get involved with meals. If you're a crafty person and, you want to help us with a craft program, even if you can't get into the center, if we can get something where we can have it virtually recorded and posted, just so that we can share that, that's also big. And then in terms of resources, if anyone is looking to make an in-kind or, even a monetary donation, we are always accepting that. Monetary donations, if you go to guam.uso.org/donate, you can easily do that there. But if you really want to learn more about what it is we're doing and you're looking for a deeper, more meaningful partnership with us, send us an email. Jay Lujan, very easy to remember, jlujan@uso.org. And then our area director, L. Graham at USO.org, easily reachable. And then you can also, again, visit us on Facebook, facebook.com/USO Guam. Search it up on Facebook there, and we'll get in touch with you very, very shortly. And I also want to say, Andy, I spent some time last year in Southwest Asia, and you had just spoken about how our heroes are not just here, but we're sharing our local heroes with the rest of the world. And so when I was in Southwest Asia, I had an opportunity to serve our heroes from Guam who were deployed throughout the region. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Iraq, Afghanistan, Djibouti, you name it. We had our local heroes there. And I couldn't tell you, I'm getting goosebumps right now, just thinking about it and talking about it. And I remember the first time there was someone from Guam. I was sitting in my office in Kuwait, and I heard someone jamming out a Chloe Kai song. And I was like, oh my gosh, who's singing Chloe Kai all the way in Kuwait? And so, of course, I ran over to the other side and I joined their music session. I can't sing for the life of me, but it was just those good island vibes, that were being spread. And, if anyone is going to be getting deployed soon, my big advice to you would be learn how to play volleyball very well, because it's an Islander thing out there. They play volleyball. That's kind of the community thing. I also, shared my spam, my lemon powder, with folks. We had some folks from Rhoda and Saipan, that I was also able to meet. So just know, people on Guam, your folks, your family members, your service members are making you proud out there. And really just can't stress that enough.
Yeah, wherever you go, wherever you're out there doing your duty, you can connect through the USO, through different servicemen and women, just for that little bit of home, or learn a little bit more about those that you serve with. So I think it's pretty important. Well, ladies, thank you so much. We're going to cut Ed out of the show. I'm just kidding. We are going to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about a new facility you guys have that obviously you're pretty proud of. So we're going to talk about that right now. We are going to take a break, and we'll be back. All right, welcome back to the show. As I teased here, we wanted to give him a whole block to himself. So Ed, we've got you on. The ladies, they covered so much of what the USO is doing here locally and internationally. But Ed, we've got you on because we wanted to talk about your new job, moving on up in the world. USO Naval Base Guam Center Manager. Now, this is a new thing. Ed, again, welcome to the show, and tell us about the new digs.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, Andy. Yeah, usually for every event, I'm sitting in your studio talking about what's coming up around the island, or a big 5K or major event coming up. But you're right, I'm transitioning into something completely new. And this is something that we are so excited about. We're opening a brand new center, a third USO center on this island at Naval Base Guam. Its official name is USO Naval Base Guam, and it will be located on Camp Covington. And, it's just extraordinary that we're even talking about a third center opening on this island. We opened originally USO Guam in 2006. And, just the growth was unprecedented up north, that the Air Force Base requested one. We opened up there in 2017. Now, just a short 3 years later, opening up on Naval Base Guam. And I'll just throw in a little teaser that we're already actually working with the Marines, looking at spaces for a possible USO up on Camp Blood. So, it's just an extraordinary time here on our island. Even despite COVID, there's still a big growth on the military side. Families moving here, and it just really just cements that strategic importance of Guam and the value of our service members and their families that are here serving on the island. The mission here is so important in the Pacific. And, when you say, give them a home away from home, that's exactly what we are going to provide at the new center on the naval base. It is smack dab in the middle of Camp Covington, in the middle of the barracks, across the galley. a lot of deployed service members. I can tell you the group now has been here for about 6 months, initially slated to go home a couple of weeks ago. And this is about 200 service members deployed from California and Mississippi that have now been extended through February. So they have spent Thanksgiving here, will spend Christmas here and New Year's all away from their families. So it just really adds to the importance of our mission on this base and serving those who really need it. And,
right, and because there's such a need there, and you don't want the USO to just be like an office over here where, hey, there's a vending machine, get a bag of chips or something, and that's pretty much it. You guys really want to add a lot of value to these centers and make it a place where, hey, I don't have to just go to work and then back to the barracks. Like, I want a place to kind of get away, just relax and enjoy. If I'm not heading out, into the beach, I'm on call or whatever, just a place for everyone to kind of feel at home.
Absolutely. One more thing about these several hundred service members on Camp Covington, they're restricted to base. They're not allowed to leave the base. Traditionally, when they're deployed here, they enjoy a lot of food, great entertainment out in town, visiting the water parks and hotels, doing a lot of the activities, hiking out in town. And these service members are literally sequestered to their camp on base. And because of social distancing guidelines, they're not allowed to gather. So for Thanksgiving, Christmas, they're eating a boxed lunch in their barracks room alone. So if USO can brighten that day with a pie, with a gingerbread house, with lots of fun to at least decorate their dorm rooms. But really, what's so amazing about this new center opening is that we give them a place to go outside of their dorm rooms. Like you just said, outside of work, that's a beautiful, amazing, amazing space that will offer amazing fast internet, the fastest internet available on the base, thanks to, again, our local community partners. They'll get pastries and snacks and free coffee from another local community partner. Donuts, we'll be serving up Coca-Cola drinks, cold water, just for them to relax. Even if they're walking back and forth from work to their barracks, they can pop in, connect to the internet, say hello to mom or dad, because sometimes internet is a challenge on base. Or if you don't have your own phone service here, because you're just deployed for a few months, it's harder to make that connection back home. So we're definitely boosting our offerings at the center to even offer full cable services, NFL games, just everything that they would consider a comfort of home. We're going to have at our USO Center. Massage chairs all over the place, and local artwork. We put out a call to the community to put up huge 2 foot by 2 foot, 3 foot, even up to some larger pieces of local photography of our favorite spots on the island. So when they walk in to our USO, they see all Guam photos on the walls, and it's just so amazing. We're looking at opening on December 8th here on Guam, which is December 7th in the States. 2 very significant dates, December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, and a lot of historical and military significance there. And of course, Santa Maria and Camelin Day, who is just, the patroness of our island, who we look to for guidance and support, and is really a beacon of kindness, caring, and hospitality, which we hope to mirror at the USO, and which we think which is what we think sets us apart from a lot of other USOs around the world, is that Hafiday spirit, that welcoming culture of just inviting everyone in who might need some care.
Yeah, absolutely. You nailed it. I was going to say that you guys, have a lot in common there because of what you do, how you help the servicemen and women, and what the little pieces of home that you bring to them and the joy that you can give them during the holidays. So definitely an important mission. And as you all have said, and you've stressed this quite a bit, could not do it without your community partners, friends, sponsors, and just individuals willing to donate time. So it is important. And you mentioned the families of these servicemen and women. Again, their support is invaluable. So let's talk a little bit about the families and how they get involved with helping those, even if they have someone in the service or they just want to help out?
Yeah, families, we can get involved by really just volunteering at the USO. We have a USO at Antuman Bay that is open to limited capacity. Again, we're restricted to all three of our centers for COVID restrictions at the local level as well as on the military level. So we take all that very seriously. But families can also, like Jadine said, can support virtually by helping us with virtual programs, or even just giving directly to the USO. And you can donate directly on our website at guam.uso.org/donate. And I know Lee will also speak a little bit about if any larger organizations or companies would like to partner with the USO. But really the story about families is the families we serve. And it's from the National Guard families that got Thanksgiving kits and Halloween goodness from our USO out in Tuman Bay. It's the families of the deployed up in Anderson, who's the service members are off island, and it's up to the spouses to really keep things going and make sure the kids stay in school virtually or in person. And really keeping the family together, and all the way down to the naval base and new Coast Guard families moving to Guam this week in the middle of a pandemic with really not a lot of support. So they get welcome kits to the island from USO Guam, every ship that arrives, that will be arriving with the new Coast Guard detachment. So we really try to keep busy, and I think you know that.
Yeah, you absolutely do, especially with only 7 people running this whole thing. That still blows my mind. So the work that you do, obviously you're passionate about it. This is not something you get into, to make money or for those other purposes. You do this because you're very passionate about it. And that really comes across from all of you and your entire team, the work that you put into it, the passion that you have for it. So the people of Guam and everywhere around the world appreciate what you do. And Lee, Ed mentioned it. If you'd like to talk about possible, corporate sponsorship or anything like that, how can these companies, businesses get involved?
Thank you, Andy. As all of us have alluded to, we're blessed by the generosity of the American people and the people of Guam, because I think we all appreciate the freedoms that we enjoy. We have a generous cadre of annual supporters that anyone can see the details of what they do on our Facebook pages. In fact, the list is too long to even mention each one here, but they provide millions of dollars in value of support in everything from our rent free place in the middle of Tuman Bay, to all of our internet connectivity, to the delightful snacks and drinks that we provide, everything that we would not be able to, in addition to financial contributions. When we need it, it's there, it is provided. And we welcome those partnerships because we literally look to them for leadership, guidance, engaged relationships. And as JD mentioned, please just get in touch with us so that we can talk about an ongoing relationship about how their communities, their teams can engage in a vibrant and ongoing collaboration, much like we do with the KUAM team and many corporate teams throughout the island.
And as you've all mentioned, it doesn't have to be a monetary donation or food or something. This time of year, write a little letter. You can write a note, maybe a Christmas card, address that to a troop or sailor around the world, a care package, something little, especially Guam. Jadine, you mentioned the lemon powder. So if you want to put a couple of those in a box, maybe drop it. I'm sure some Chamorros and Guamanians serving around the world would appreciate that. So however you can help, just take a second too, because as you said, we have the freedom to sit here and celebrate these holidays with the ones that mean the most to us. And, sometimes it's easy to forget that there are those out there that even if they wanted to, wouldn't be able to spend the holidays with their families. So on behalf of everyone that serves and everyone in our community, I want to thank you and all your team for all the work that you do. It's important. It may not get all the publicity that you deserve, but it's nice to know that you're out there passionate about the work and doing great things. So thank you all so much. Before we go, anything you'd like to add to kind of close things out?
I'm good.
Viva Guam, Viva
Viva.
KUAM, Viva the United States of America, and our military men and women and their little ones who are all the heroes.
All right, Jadine, anything
Happy
you'd like to
holidays,
add?
everyone. Happy holidays. We're thinking of you, keeping your prayers, keep you all in our prayers always. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much, all of you. Enjoy a very, very happy holiday, and please be safe. And thanks again for all that you do.
Happy holidays.
All right, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please be safe.